Hey everybody, and welcome to this 15 minutes live. Uh, it is Saturday afternoon, and we had a busy week this week. We just had our national elections, and today the results was published. So I won't say we have a new government, but the previous political party maintained its 50% lead in terms of receiving the votes, so they continue to be the government. I don't want to talk too much about my thoughts or my feelings or my beliefs in terms of the government, but yes, we just went through the whole voting process and elections, and the results are out. And to be honest with you, I think everybody in the country expected a difference and a shift. But the outcome is basically that the status quo remains. As I see it, and I haven't really looked at the final results, I've just been following the progress up until 95% of the votes being counted. And from what I've seen is that the status quo just remains. I don't see any political party growing in terms of the number of votes they received since the last elections 4 or 5 years ago. I don't see that the majority of votes or the leading political party decreasing or increasing the number of votes they received. I think things are just the way they've always been. There's no shift. Things are just the way they are. It's like when we first started to vote in a democracy or a democratic country, I don't see any major shifts. There has been a shift over the 25 years since we've been a democracy. And the only shift that I can really see is that a number of new parties has been established, right? So that's one shift. A number of new parties has been established to contest the elections. And I think there was I didn't even count, because to be honest with you, I was just, and I'm nobody, I'm just an ordinary citizen. So I was just concentrating on, I'll just say 3 political parties. And these are the 3 political parties that was making the most noise. So I was just concentrating on the 3, and I just decided to vote for one of the 3 that's got, let me call it the lesser evil, if you can call it that. Not to waste my vote, say, okay, my vote, I must vote for someone, let's vote for the top 3, and I'll vote for the one with the lesser evil. And how I determined the lesser evil, I looked at the track record of these 3 political parties, and I kind of looked at what they've done in the metropolitans that they govern and how well they are doing their governing in these metropolitans. And I looked at what they promise. Now, all of them just made some wild promises in their election manifestos, and I just looked at the one that was a bit more realistic. And I looked at the party that is more a representative of the population as a whole and not one-sided. So in this country we still have the black and white issue. We still have the economical wealth, sitting with one part of the population, so the others are like fighting, promoting the other part, and say, we're going to take from this one, we're going to take from Peter and give to Paul. So all those things were a bit unrealistic. And the issue about land, we need to take the land from those who own the land. There's claims that people have stolen the land. We need to take the land and we need to give it to the rightful owners, who are the people of South Africa. And I mean, since 1652, who do you know who's the rightful owner of land? It's just a very stupid and a silly conversation to have. So there was just all these claims, and I think these were all just talks to get people excited so that you can gain a number of votes. So I looked at which party was a bit more realistic. Others were promising that because this country has got like a 27% unemployment rate, so they were promising we're going to give social grants and we're going to increase social grants to this value. And I mean, if you look at those promises and what they're promising people in terms of social grants, I mean, the revenue service do not even collect as much revenue as what they were promising to give people in social grants. So clearly they didn't think about it, they didn't do their homework, they don't understand how the country works, they don't understand how the country is run. So it was just all these unrealistic claims. Some parties were going around to people's houses, doing door-to-door visiting and opening up their refrigerators, and if they see there's not much in the refrigerator, they would give people cash, 200 Rand cash. That's about enough for someone to survive, or for a house also to survive for 1 week. So they would provide 1 week groceries with the hope of that these people will vote for them. So yeah, to be honest with you, I think all this, another party was putting up billboards bashing on the other party, concentrating on the faults of the ruling party or the government, and saying, this is the faults, this is their faults, we're going to turn it around, trying to take the bad of one party or the governing or the ruling party and trying to tell people, we're going to fix this and we're going to be better, and just trying to point, when you make someone look bad with the hope that you will look better because you're pointing out someone else's faults. And to be honest with you, all these tactics, and then the ruling party was accused of looting and stealing and poor governance and mismanagement. And despite all this, what actually came out of the elections is that people don't give a damn, people don't care. You can now stand on a mountain and blow through your bum, or make noise, or scream from the top of your lungs. You can promise people whatever you want to promise people. I think people just see through you, and people just know this is a whole lot of nonsense. People just know this is just all talk. So I think all the political parties, all of them, they promised so much. They came out and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And I think people are just tired, and they just see through all this. And a number of smaller political parties came up. I mean, the ballot page was like this long. And to be honest with you, I didn't even take the time to see who's on the ballot box. I didn't even care who's on the ballot box. To me, it was just the top three. There was another party that was just completely haywire. And this party was like They were just promoting one part of the population, and they were just screaming at the top of their lungs, and they were making hateful statements towards the rest of the population, and they were just saying like, we represent black people, and we are just black, we don't want any other race, we don't represent them, we don't want them to join, with the hope that black people would just fall into their laps. And it's just like some executives that or let me speak about one person, was an executive that was running our broadcasting corporation, and he got fired, and he decided to open his own political party. And he was talking about, I managed a $1 billion corporation, or a R1 billion corporation, and I am fit to run this country, and with the hope that that would buy him some votes, or at least get him a seat in parliament, and all that. There was another a lady that broke away from one of the top 3 parties, while the party claims that she was fired for mismanagement and misconduct and poor governance, whatever the case might be. I know there was also issues around bribing. I don't know if it's true, but there was just allegations of bribing. But also, I think I might be, but she was exonerated from that. So she was found not guilty, and she decided to start her own political party. But all this happening, and it's just everybody's coming out, and everybody's just wanting to contest and win this election. But the people, I think it was just too much for the people. It's like, it was just tiring, it was just tiring. And I think people went back, like, I think they kind of went back 20 years ago and just say, you know what, I'm just going to go with that party. All this noise is happening, all this is happening, and it's like noise that is happening just like 2 or 3 months before the election. So I think if any party really wants to make an impact, I think they need to start now and use the next 4 to 5 years to campaign to win the election. Campaign, do some good public services, be out there, show the public that you are here. Don't just use social media. Be with the people, for the people, by the people. That's something I remember from some political statements made in the past. But yes, don't come 3 months, 2 months before the election and wanting to swing people. People were just tired, people were just inundated with information. There was just too much noise, too much promises, and everything and all the money these parties have spent to win over the voter, none of that actually materialized. None of it. I don't see any shift. If there is a shift, it's a minor shift, but nothing to the effect that say like, wow, the outcome of this election is a major shift. Nothing has changed. Everything still stays the same, and I can guarantee you that in the next 5 years, nothing is going to change. The same problems we had in this country will just remain. There's going to be no change. Things are just going to remain the same, and the same government, same minds, same people, and they're just going to continue doing the same thing. There's going to be no difference, right? Although the governing party made some promises, I don't think anything is going to change. So what we need to do is we need to work within this constraint. We need to find our way. We need to adjust to what we know. And the good thing is we know what's happening, we know where we're at, and we need to kind of, as citizens, live within what we know, and we need to find a way to survive. That's my 15 minutes live. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.